The Scientist and the Emperor. Dr. Eleanor Vega stood motionless in the center of the vast chamber, her gray hair pulled back in a severe bun, her weathered face composed despite the circumstances. At 78, she had seen more of the universe than most humans, dedicating her life to astrophysics and interstellar diplomacy. Now, surrounded by the towering crystalline forms of the Crescian Imperial Guard, she maintained the dignified posture that had earned her respect across 5 decades of scientific breakthroughs. The Crescian warship Inevitable Dominance had intercepted her research vessel 3 days ago, while she was en route to a galactic science symposium. The ambush had been swift, precise, and Eleanor realized now, meticulously planned. The Crescians hadn't randomly attacked a human ship. They had specifically targeted hers. Emperor Zorax's throne room sprawled around her, a testament to the 1,000 conquered civilizations that had fallen to the Crescian Empire. Display cases lined the walls, showcasing artifacts from subjugated worlds, remnants of cultures that had been absorbed or extinguished. The message was clear. Resistance was not only futile but historically unprecedented. The esteemed Dr. Eleanor Vega, Emperor Zorax's voice echoed through the chamber, the translator struggling to convey his blend of mockery and curiosity. The Emperor himself was an imposing figure, 12 feet tall with a segmented exoskeleton that shimmered with bioluminescent patterns across his carapace. His compound eyes studied her with the detached interest of a collector examining a new specimen. The architect of humanity's pitiful expansion into our galaxy, the Emperor continued. The mind behind the Vega displacement theory that allowed your kind to stumble beyond your solar system. Eleanor remained silent, her eyes cataloging every detail of the chamber. The positions of the guards, the technology integrated into the walls, the various dignitaries from across the Empire watching with varied expressions of disdain and curiosity. "Nothing to say, human," prompted Grand Admiral Thrix, stepping forward from beside the Emperor's throne. "Perhaps the gravity of your situation has finally penetrated that primitive skull. 3 of your outposts have already been reduced to cosmic dust. Your defense fleet scattered like insects before a storm." A ripple of clicking sounds, Crescian laughter, moved through the assembled court. Eleanor allowed herself a small smile. "If I may ask, Your Eminence, why am I here? If your intention is to intimidate humanity into submission, capturing a scientist seems an odd strategy." Emperor Zorax leaned forward, his massive form casting a shadow over her. "You are here, Dr. Vega, because our intelligence suggests you are more than just a scientist. You hold influence in your Terran Union. You advise your leaders. You will witness our power firsthand and then carry our terms of surrender back to Earth." Terms of surrender. Eleanor raised an eyebrow. "Your species has resources we require," interjected Chancellor Krex, a slender Crescian with elaborate markings denoting his political rank. "Your planet harbors rare minerals and biological diversity that would benefit the Empire. Submit, and we will allow humans to exist as a protected species. Resist, and face extinction." More laughter echoed through the chamber as Eleanor processed this information. "I'm curious," she said, her voice steady and clear. "What exactly do your intelligence reports say about humanity? About Earth?" Grand Admiral Thrix displayed a holographic projection in the center of the room. A species barely 2 centuries into faster-than-light travel, 9 colonized systems, a defense force of fewer than 300 vessels, primitive shielding technology, rudimentary weapon systems. The Admiral moved closer, towering over her. "We analyzed your combat capabilities extensively. Your species would not survive 1 standard galactic month against our full military might." Eleanor nodded slowly, as if absorbing this information for the first time. "You seem remarkably untroubled for someone facing the extinction of their species," observed Emperor Zorax. "Perhaps," Eleanor replied, "because your intelligence is catastrophically incomplete." A subtle shift occurred in the chamber, a slight tension that hadn't been there before. "Explain," demanded the Emperor. "You've made the same mistake as the Arcturus Collective and the Syrian hegemony before you," Eleanor said, her voice taking on a professorial tone. You looked at our visible expansion, our public military capacity, our diplomatic stance, and concluded that's all there is to humanity. She took a step forward, causing the guards to tense. You never asked yourselves why a species with our technological growth rate over the past 3 centuries has only colonized 9 systems. You never wondered why a species that survived multiple near-extinction events on its home planet, ice ages, plagues, self-inflicted nuclear conflicts, would maintain such a small defense fleet. Emperor Zorax's compound eyes narrowed. Enlighten us, then. Humanity united behind one principle after our last global war. Never again would we unleash our full capacity for violence. Not unless forced. Eleanor's eyes locked with the Emperor's. We've been holding back, deliberately limiting our expansion, maintaining peace. Chancellor Krex scoffed. A convenient story to mask your technological inadequacies. Eleanor smiled, not the smile of someone intimidated, but the smile of a teacher whose student had missed an obvious point. Since my capture, I've been transmitting. The neural implant your scanners missed has been sending everything I've seen and heard directly to Earth Command. A murmur of concern rippled through the assembled dignitaries. The final authorization code was just acknowledged, she continued, raising her left wrist slightly. A small red light beneath her skin pulsed once, then glowed steady. The chamber's main display screen activated without command. A Crescian communications officer frantically worked to regain control, to no avail. The screen showed thousands of massive vessels emerging from what appeared to be empty space, ships twice the size of the largest Crescian battle cruisers, appearing simultaneously at strategic points throughout the Empire, bypassing all early warning systems. Hidden shipyards in the cores of dead stars, Eleanor explained calmly, as alarms began blaring throughout the Imperial vessel. Manufacturing facilities in dimensional pockets, transit gates disguised as natural phenomena. Technologies we developed but refused to deploy. Until now. The Emperor rose from his throne, his composure fractured. This is impossible. Our intelligence was exactly what we wanted you to see, Eleanor interrupted. For centuries, we've maintained the appearance of minimal expansion while preparing for the possibility that we might encounter a species like yours, conquerors who understand only dominance. On the screen, more vessels appeared, smaller, faster ships moving with impossible precision to disable rather than destroy Crescian outposts. Your raids on our outposts confirmed our worst fears about your intentions, Eleanor continued. But they also gave us your shield frequencies, weapons signatures, and communication protocols. You thought you were testing our defenses. In reality, we were studying you. Grand Admiral Thrix rushed to a communication panel, barking orders in his native language, bypassing the translation system. It won't help, Eleanor said quietly. Every Crescian military communication channel has been compromised. Your encrypted frequencies are being broadcast on an open channel across the galaxy. The Emperor's bioluminescent patterns flashed in what Eleanor recognized as alarm. You have a choice, Emperor Zorax, she said. In the next 30 seconds, you can order all Crescian forces to stand down and prepare for diplomatic negotiations, or you can witness firsthand why every spacefaring race that came before you chose peace with humanity. You're bluffing, Chancellor Krex hissed. No species could hide such military might. A new alert sounded through the chamber as the ship's sensors detected unprecedented energy signatures surrounding them. We didn't hide our might, Eleanor corrected him. We hid our potential. There's a difference. The main screen split to show multiple feeds, Crescian defense stations going dark, their power systems neutralized, shield generators failing across the Imperial fleet, weapon systems locking themselves down as automated systems were overridden by code that seemed to write itself. Impossible, whispered Grand Admiral Thrix. Our security protocols were designed by beings who think like you, Eleanor finished. We think differently. Humanity survived its own self-destructive tendencies, by learning to approach problems from angles others can't imagine. Emperor Zorax sank back onto his throne, the reality of the situation becoming clear. "You have 15 seconds left, Your Eminence," Eleanor said, her voice gentle but firm. "Choose peace, and humanity will work with you to establish a new galactic order based on mutual respect and cooperation. Choose war." She gestured to the screen, where more human vessels continued to emerge from seemingly nowhere. "And you will discover exactly why we've spent centuries ensuring we would never need to use what we've built." The chamber fell silent except for the blaring alarms. The Emperor's compound eyes fixed on the old human scientist standing before him, a woman who had appeared so fragile, so inconsequential just moments ago. 10 seconds, Eleanor said. Emperor Zorax raised a clawed appendage. "Communications broadcast on all Imperial frequencies. All Crescian forces are ordered to stand down immediately. Deactivate weapons systems. Power down shields." He turned to Eleanor, his voice carrying a new note of respect. "It seems, Dr. Vega, that we have much to discuss." Eleanor nodded. "Indeed we do, Your Eminence. Indeed we do." As the Crescian court watched in stunned silence, humanity's true face was revealed to the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as guardians who had prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. The first lesson of the new galactic era had been delivered. Underestimate humanity at your peril. The revelation and reckoning. Emperor Zorax's private war chamber had been converted into an impromptu diplomatic suite within hours of Dr. Eleanor Vega's revelation. Where once battle plans and conquest strategies had dominated the massive holographic displays, now the room showed real-time feeds from across the Crescian Empire. Human vessels maintaining position near critical infrastructure, Crescian military installations powering down their weapons, and bewildered Imperial citizens watching as their supposedly invincible military stood down without firing a shot. "This is unprecedented," muttered Chancellor Krex, his segmented limbs twitching with nervous energy. 3,000 cycles of Imperial expansion. Never once has the Crescian Empire surrendered. "Not surrender," Eleanor corrected, seated comfortably at the conference table that had been hastily assembled. "Evolution." Emperor Zorax entered the chamber, accompanied only by Grand Admiral Thrix. The Emperor had abandoned his ceremonial battle armor for simpler attire, a significant gesture in Crescian culture, indicating a willingness to engage without pretense. "Dr. Vega," the Emperor began, settling his massive form into a specially designed chair, "your demonstration has been convincing, but I confess I still struggle to understand how humanity concealed such capabilities from the galaxy." Eleanor nodded. "Your confusion is natural. The Crescian Empire built its civilization on visibility, on projecting strength, on ensuring that all potential adversaries know exactly how powerful you are. It's an effective strategy for deterrence. But not the human way," Grand Admiral Thrix observed, his earlier arrogance replaced by cautious respect. "No," Eleanor agreed. "Earth's history taught us different lessons. For millennia, our civilizations rose and fell. We nearly destroyed ourselves multiple times, through war, environmental collapse, technological hubris. When we finally united and reached for the stars, we carried those painful lessons with us." The main display shifted to show the vast human fleet, vessels of configurations the Crescians had never encountered, energy signatures that defied their scientific understanding, and defense systems that seemed to anticipate threats before they manifested. "What you're seeing is the culmination of a philosophy we adopted 3 centuries ago," Eleanor continued. "We call it the Guardian Protocol, the principle that humanity would develop every conceivable defensive and offensive capability, but would use them only as a last resort." Chancellor Krex leaned forward. "But the resources required, the coordination necessary across your colonies, are precisely why we limited our visible expansion," Eleanor finished. "What appeared to be 9 colonized systems is actually a vast network of hidden installations, research facilities, and manufacturing hubs connected through dimensional transit points." She gestured, and the display changed to show a three-dimensional map of the galaxy with thousands of points illuminated, far more than the known human settlements. While other species rushed to claim territory and resources, humanity focused on understanding the fundamental laws of physics, on developing technologies that wouldn't just advance our capabilities incrementally, but transform them entirely. Her eyes met the Emperor's compound gaze. We weren't expanding outward. We were expanding inward. Grand Admiral Thrix studied the map with professional interest. These positions, they're strategically perfect. You could neutralize any military force in the galaxy from these locations. We could, Eleanor acknowledged. But that was never our intention. The Guardian Protocol has one purpose: to ensure that humanity would never again face extinction. Not to conquer, not to dominate, simply to survive. Emperor Zorax's bioluminescent patterns shifted to indicate deep thought. Then why reveal yourselves now? You could have continued this deception for centuries. Eleanor's expression hardened slightly. Because your attacks on our outposts killed innocent people, researchers, families, children. Your intelligence gathering suggested you viewed Earth as a resource to be harvested rather than a civilization to be respected. When peaceful coexistence seems impossible, the protocol calls for demonstration rather than destruction. The chamber door slid open, and a human delegation entered. Military officers, scientists, and diplomats who had arrived through one of the dimensional transit points that human vessels were now using to move throughout the galaxy with impossible speed. Admiral Chen, the commanding officer of the Human Defense Force, approached the table. Unlike the Crescian officers with their ornate uniforms and battle decorations, Chen wore a simple gray uniform with minimal insignia. Emperor Zorax, Admiral Chen said with a respectful nod, I bring greetings from the United Earth Government and our colonial settlements. We regret the circumstances that have brought us together, but hope this marks the beginning of a new relationship between our civilizations. The Emperor studied the human officer. Your ships have disabled my entire defense network without destroying a single vessel or taking a single Crescian life. How? Admiral Chen exchanged a glance with Dr. Vega. Permission to demonstrate, Doctor. Eleanor nodded. Educational purposes only. The Admiral removed a small device from his pocket, a simple metallic cube no larger than his palm. He placed it on the conference table. May I? He asked the Emperor, who nodded his assent. Admiral Chen activated the cube with a touch. The air above it shimmered, and suddenly a miniature representation of the Imperial throne room appeared, a perfect, real-time replica showing officials and guards still present in the chamber several decks away. Quantum entanglement monitoring. Admiral Chen explained. No signals to detect, no energy emissions to trace. We've been observing key locations throughout your empire since you first entered our detection range 3 years ago. Chancellor Krex's mandibles clicked in alarm. Impossible. Our security is based on preventing physical or electromagnetic infiltration. Eleanor interjected. We don't use either method. Admiral Chen deactivated the cube. What you're experiencing, Chancellor, is a paradigm shift. Your civilization developed along one technological path. Impressive in its own right, but linear. Humanity explored multiple paths simultaneously, some of which led to capabilities that appear almost mystical from your perspective. The Admiral turned to Emperor Zorax. We could have destroyed your empire today. Instead, we chose to reveal ourselves. That choice reflects our deepest hope, that once you understand what humanity truly is, you'll choose alliance over adversity. Emperor Zorax was silent for a long moment, his compound eyes shifting between the humans present. When he finally spoke, his tone had lost all traces of its former condescension. In 3,000 cycles, the Crescian Empire has encountered over 500 sentient species. Some fought bravely. Some surrendered immediately. Some attempted deception or sabotage. But never, not once, have we faced a civilization that so thoroughly upended our understanding of what is possible. The Emperor's massive form straightened. You have my attention, humans. What are your terms? Dr. Vega stepped forward. Not terms, Your Eminence. Proposals. First, immediate cessation of all hostilities and withdrawal of Imperial forces from human territory. Second, exchange of scientific and cultural knowledge, with appropriate safeguards. Third, establishment of a joint council to address disputes and coordinate mutual interests. She paused. And fourth, perhaps most importantly, your assistance in preparing the galaxy for what comes next. What comes next? Chancellor Krex echoed. Eleanor's expression grew solemn. The real reason we developed the Guardian Protocol wasn't fear of empires like yours, Chancellor. Our deep space monitoring networks have detected something approaching from beyond the galactic rim. Something ancient and vast and hungry. The display changed to show readings that made even Grand Admiral Thrix's exoskeleton pale. What is this? We call them the Void Eaters, Admiral Chen said quietly. They've consumed at least 3 galaxies that we can detect. Their advanced elements will reach our galaxy within 50 years. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. This is why we reveal ourselves now, Eleanor explained. Humanity alone cannot stop what's coming. Even with our technological advantages, we need allies, especially civilizations with your military experience and resource base. Emperor Zorax studied the data, his tactical mind already analyzing the threat. You could have shared this information without the demonstration of force. Would you have believed us? Eleanor asked simply. Would you have seen it as anything other than a trick to avoid conquest? The Emperor's silence was answer enough. Today marks a new beginning. Eleanor continued. The Crescian Empire has been the dominant force in this galaxy for millennia. Humanity has been the hidden guardian for centuries. Together, along with other species who will join us, we have a chance against what's coming. Emperor Zorax rose from his seat, towering over the humans present, but somehow no longer seeming as intimidating as before. Dr. Vega, when you were brought before me, I saw only an old, fragile being from a primitive world. I have never been more mistaken in my long life. He extended a clawed appendage in what his advisors had informed him was a human gesture of agreement. The Crescian Empire will join your coalition against these Void Eaters. Our resources, our warriors, our knowledge, all will be committed to this cause. Eleanor took his massive claw in her small weathered hand and shook it firmly. This is how humanity has survived, Your Eminence, not by being the strongest or the most aggressive, but by understanding when to fight alone and when to stand together. As the human and Crescian delegations began the detailed work of forging their alliance, Eleanor found herself thinking of Earth, of the blue planet that had shaped her species' unique approach to survival. Humans had never been the strongest, the fastest, or the most numerous. Their advantage had always been adaptation, innovation, and the wisdom to know when transformation was necessary. Today, they had transformed from a hidden guardian into a galactic leader. And as reports came in from across Crescian space, of human vessels standing down, of Imperial citizens cautiously celebrating the averted war, of scientific teams already beginning to exchange knowledge, Eleanor knew that the greatest battle still lay ahead. But for the first time in centuries, humanity would not face that battle alone. The galaxy would never be the same again. And perhaps, just perhaps, that was exactly what it needed. The end.